Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just go.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm TJ O'Connor. With me, as always, Damien the Wolverine Hill. Trash Talk is brought to you by the sponsors of the show: Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Ink Shrinks Tattoo, Origin Wellness CBD, Spartan Martial Arts, the Striking Institute, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, the Fighters, and my mom. Damien, how you doing, man?
A whole lot better than you.
That's
You know,
fair.
and I guess tonight, what we're here to talk about is the the element of marketing yourself and how strong it can be, and I guess how soon a guy should start or girls should start. Because women are involved in the sport as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting topic. What did you think of it?
Oh man, when you first brought it up, it was because you see it all the time where guys make it to the next level and then begin it, and I mean we've seen it, been around locally long enough to see guys that are 1, 2, and 0, and they're talking to you like they're the world champion, so they've clearly already turned it on. But where is that right moment? And I guess the only right moments when you do it. I guess that sounds super cheesy, but I mean, you obviously don't want to bust out the gimmick on a 4 fight losing streak and start telling everybody how you're the best in the world. But I mean, if you're on a 3, 4 fight winning streak, it's looking like we're 1 or 2 fights away from getting a chance. Why not turn it on then? Why not turn it on right before you get there to have a little bit of practice before you make the UFC or Bellator?
Man, man, as soon as you think about fighting, think about your gimmick. That it's just like
Really?
I'm joking. I'm totally joking. I was gonna go off on like a whole pro wrestling tangent and shit, but no, like it's one of those things. Like it's gimmicks aren't necessarily needed, but if you're one of those guys that thinks that you're going to need one, it's best to start developing it as early as possible. You know what I mean? That way you do, like you said, you have practice with it. You're able to determine, and then one of the biggest things that I think about is building the mental toughness that goes along with whatever persona you're trying to display, because you have I don't know, you have some guys, some shit talkers, and then you're gonna hear some shit back, especially when you lose and things like that. Are you gonna be able to handle it? Are you gonna be able to handle the flack from, let's just say, your grandmother doesn't like what you said to such and such, and now she thinks less of you, or she might think less of you because of what you're saying to a fighter, but you're doing that to get inside their head and to sell tickets, and it has nothing to do with your love for your grandma, and it doesn't. But the fact, like, are you going to continue doing it now? And because now that your grandma's upset about it, you don't want her to get upset anymore, so you stop doing it. But then people are going to call you out on it. You were being fake before, and now you have this persona that you kind of have to live up to now, or that you're going to have to backpedal away from really quick. And it usually ends up with people not respecting you. You know what I mean? And then let's just even get into the fact, like, more in depth with it, because, like, let's say your grandma's fine with it. Your grandma's fine with you talking all the shit in the world, TJ, but
My grandma
your
got my back.
yeah, but your wife's mother isn't, and that's your wife's mother. She's looking at her like, you're dating this guy. He's saying all these things in these interviews. He's saying all these things. All of those things get to play a factor and get brought in. And is that something you want to find out at the biggest stage when you're trying to make a name for yourself? Now all of a sudden, people closest to you telling you how you changed, or that they don't like it anymore, or whatever, or is it just going to be one of those things that you find yourself, do you explain it to everyone around you how it's going to go down? Things like that when you start to make the change. It's complicated when it gets into things like that, especially with the whole family aspect and everything. And then what the family doesn't like is usually what the fans love.
Yeah.
So it that's another thing, you know. So like, it's like what Nick Diaz said, that he's just going around being him, and he has a soccer mom coming up to him telling him that she hopes GSP kicks his ass, you know. And it's like, and he's in his own neighborhood or whatever, but that's just, he's just being who he is, you know. And granted, he didn't like that, but it's ready. He's ready for that stuff. And but let's say GSP flipped it and was talking all this mad shit or whatever, right? And people were saying that towards GSP, like a soccer mom telling him, like, you watch the sport? I'm surprised. Like, what? You're mad at the things that I do, but you watch the sport even? You know, I don't know how I kind of ended, how I even got on that subject or whatever, but you know what I was saying before that.
Oh, 100%. And I like what you were bringing up earlier, like when you said that you have to prepare for what you're getting yourself into. Because if you choose the gimmick, if you choose to market yourself as the bad guy, the Chael Sonnen, the Kobe Covington, you know, where your goal is to piss people off to get them to watch you, you have to understand that it's a whole different level of heat. Because not only are you getting the heat of your peers, the people you're trying to fight, the people you're talking about, but now you have people in the crowd who are specifically there to watch you lose. It's a different thing. I mean, you hear it all the time. Obviously, the big example would be Floyd Mayweather. I mean, people don't watch him to win; people watch him to lose, and he hasn't done it yet. But yet, you keep watching because you want to see it. He's prepared for that energy. That can make a lot of people crack. I mean, it's different when you walk into your hometown arena and 3/4 of the building just, and you're like, yeah. But I mean, unless you've been there where the crowd doesn't like you, you've been in the opponent's hometown, or just the crowd just doesn't like you, and you got people, fuck you, you know. I mean, because it happens sometimes. The crowd isn't that nice.
Yep.
Fighters know that, but you have to be prepared for whatever it brings. And I mean, even if you take the good guy role, you got to be prepared for what that brings, because now you're officially the good guy. In the world of social media, you can't slip up. You can't do douchey shit. Yeah, because then you're no longer
John
the good
Jones.
guy.
John
John Jones.
No, but one of the things that you just brought up, or not you, one of the things that you said made this pop up into my head, but I think it's an underlooked aspect, because I think when we talk about adopting a persona or going after a gimmick and things like that, going into MMA and selling yourself and marketing yourself, we always take on being the bad guy. You know what I mean? And it's so easy. The Conor McGregor, the Chael Sonnen, or, you know, the shit talkers, because they usually get a lot of attention brought to them, especially if they can back it up. Now, you can tell when people are trying that. You know, you can almost always tell when people are faking it, you know. And then you have people like Henry Cejudo and Kobe Covington, who you can tell that they're faking it, but they roll with it that they're faking it, and so it works for them or whatever, right? But not everybody does that. People backtrack, like what I was saying earlier. But an underlooked aspect is the guys who try to adopt the Robbie Lawler persona. The guys who's like, I'm just here to fight. This is what I love to do. Do you have any more questions? You know, like, and everybody loves Robbie Lawler. Like, dude, Robbie Lawler's the shit. And dude, like, you can't hate him. If you're a fight fan, you're a Robbie Lawler fan. The two go together. So, and the way he carries himself, his demeanor, everything, like, he's never been the bad guy, but he's never been a bitch. He's not, dude, it's so hard to play both sides, or to have both things, you know. Like, he's an intimidating guy, but he's so humble and nice. He's what how everybody wants to be seen.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you don't hear about Robbie Lawler getting a D-dub and hitting a pregnant lady or whatever. No shot at John Jones, but just in any circumstance or whatever, right? Like, so many of these guys have tried to play off the Robbie Lawler persona. One, it kind of comes off as fake, like you're only saying that because you think you're supposed to. You don't actually mean it, and you can tell when guys actually don't mean it, you know, or they show off in later interviews that you were just answering that question because you thought that's what you wanted to say. This is how you really feel because now you're more relaxed or whatever. In certain interviews, like, certain people get you to reveal certain things, and after a while, you're going to be able to determine if it's fake or not. You know, I mean, I guess John Jones again. Sorry. But basically, like, there's a bunch of people that want that Robbie Lawler persona, but like they'll say something that they think is going to be loved by everybody because Robbie Lawler is loved by everybody. So they think of something Robbie Lawler would say. And then it comes off as just like, okay, maybe, yeah. But then you see in a later interview that this dude is completely fucking full of shit. Yeah. He didn't mean that in his last interview. It's like, so which one is it? You know, pick one, guy. You know, it's like Robbie Lawler is just being Robbie Lawler. The people who are trying to be Robbie Lawler, those ones get seen through just as easy as the Colby Covingtons, you know, and especially when you see like later interviews, like when you're trying to pretend to be the good guy all the time and then get exposed to be the bad guy, it ends up being worse. Like John Jones, you know, let's look at I don't know. I'm trying to think of other examples, but like anytime that you present yourself is better than what it's Instagram filters.
Yes.
That's the way to fucking describe it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're putting out something that's not there. It's a fake person. And I mean, you can only do that for so long. Once you turn your head a little bit and you lose that angle, all of a sudden it's all gone, just to keep it in the Instagram terms. But I love that aspect you brought up of the Robbie Lawler aspect and that type of fighter, just because he, like you said, he's the kind of guy, like his interview would be like, oh, no, I'm here just to fight people. And he means that. You'll never hear of Robbie Lawler saying, "Oh, I'll fight that guy for more money," or "Yeah, I'll fight that guy, but not on Tuesday." You know what I mean? He got into this
Dude,
when guys.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm like, if he has a contract dispute, his manager and his management team are negotiating that with the UFC. He's not posting about it on Twitter and shit. He's just, man.
No, you're talking about a guy. Yeah, you're talking about a guy that like got into this at 18 years old before people were even making money doing this. He got into it. He's like, oh, I want to fight a guy in a cage. So that's just a different. And guys, when guys try to fake that, you see it and it falls apart so quickly. Like you said, I mean, oh yeah, I'll fight everybody. And it's like, well, all right, you got an opportunity to fight him. Well, you know, I can't fight him because I'm not getting enough. I'm not getting enough money for 5 rounds. And it's like, well, that's the contract you signed.
Yeah, which one is it? You know, you said that when you had the contract that you're complaining about right now, why you won't take the fight. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's one of those things. Like it's just, okay. Everyone wants to. Okay, this would be my advice to fighters coming up or whatever. You know, like everybody wants to pretend that they're better than their emotions, that they carry themselves like as a true professional. Like nothing hurts their feelings. They don't feel jealousy. They don't feel rage. They don't feel, I don't know, animosity. They don't feel, I don't know. There's so many other different feelings that I can't name right now.
Robots.
Yeah, but like all of these things are human emotion, you know, and certain things are going to bring certain things out of you. You are not bad if you act like you're mad. You know, I've seen Robbie Lawler mad like 2 or 3 different times, you know, at weigh-ins, at press conferences and at everything, but he doesn't carry himself as an angry person. That's why nobody remembers him as like an angry guy. I remember him. He was going back and forth with DS2 when they were talking, but like it's just one of those things. Like he has never pretended to be anybody, and we remember Robbie Lawler as Robbie Lawler. Yes. If you try to hide certain emotions for too long, eventually they're gonna come out. You know, people try to, I don't know, act like they're more enlightened than what they actually are. You know, it's like, oh, I'm just happy, I'm getting along with my life. You know, it's like, yes, dude, you should be happy and getting along with your life, but as you're enjoying your happiness, you're going to say that things don't come up that make you upset? Like it's up on anybody else to dwell on those things. You know, that if you dwell on what makes you upset for however long, well, that's on you. You shouldn't dwell on it for too long. But to say that it doesn't happen is bullshit. You know, when the light's taking too long, it's like, what the fuck is up with this light? Like, I'm not going to beat this light's ass. I'm not going to hold that in my fucking heart for the rest of my fucking life. You know what I mean? But I still get mad. You know, and it's just like people act like they don't or that they're better than those basic emotions. And that's usually where it's not like you got to go around being mad all the fucking time or being hard all the time either. you know, because even that's fake. Like,
Yeah.
you're not hard all the time. You're hard as fuck when you're holding your baby. When you're holding, you hard as hell. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just be you. If they
Yeah.
like you, they like, because if you're pretending to be somebody, they're gonna like you, and then that's gonna be they're gonna like you for something you're not. And then if they hate you, they're gonna hate you for something you're not. The fuck? Like come on. Like,
Man, I got nothing to add. That was be yourself.
I don't know. Sorry about the little rant right there, but it's just like I just wish people would understand, or like just be you.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, and then also like this video, subscribe to Trash Talk with Damien and TJ, and don't be a hoe. It's simple.